All right, it's time to talk state championship games. I'm Fox 23 Sports Director Nathan Thompson, along with the Tulsa World's Barry Lewis. And man, the season has flown by. And now, for most of the classes, we have state title games this week. That means all 5 of your top 5 and your best games of the week. They're all great. They could all be number 1 because they're state title games. So that's in the Tuesday edition of the Tulsa World. You can also get it on okprepsextra.com. And you actually write up all the games that are going on this week.
All 12 are included, yes.
So make sure you pick up a Tuesday edition of the Tulsa World. Number 1, this is a great one. Owasso versus Bixby, Class 6A1 state title game. Again, all these games are at UCO, all the state title games anyway. This is a rematch. They had the Battle of the Burbs to start off the season. Bixby beat Owasso, and now we're ending the season with a rematch. Spartans have looked great all season long. Owasso they struggled at the beginning of the year, and now they're looking great now.
Yes, Owasso riding a 9-game winning streak and coming off the 6 overtime win over Union. And Bixby, of course, has been a juggernaut most of the season, just a one little slip up against Jenks. So Bixby's a big favorite, but Owasso relishes the underdog role. And after seeing what they did to Union last week and seeing how far they've come, again, I know I've said this every week, but it really is true. Never count out a Bill Blankenship coach team. And I think Owasso's got a legitimate chance, although I am picking Bixby to win.
Yes, definitely. I think I'm going with Bixby as well, but I pick Owasso to lose to Union in the semis, and Owasso to lose to Norman North in the quarterfinals.
Me too.
So what do I know? So it should be a great game. That one at UCO, that one's at Friday night at 7 o'clock, so if you want to go to that one. Class 3A final is your number 2 game, as we have Metro Christian taking on Heritage Hall, and Metro coming off a really impressive win in the semifinals over Lincoln Christian.
Metro moving back up to 3A this year. They won the 2A state title in 2 of the last 3 years. Kirk Francis, our quarterback, was the MVP of the 2020 2A state championship, so you know he knows what it's all about and how to succeed on the big stage. And he had a great game last week in the semifinals against Lincoln Christian. So Metro Christian, I'm going to pick them over Heritage Hall. However, Heritage Hall has such a great tradition. They won 4 out of 5 state titles from 2014 through 18. They lost in the semifinals last 3 years. They're a young team, so this year, but they are playing their best football this season. They're peaking at the right time. It's a classic matchup.
That one is at 7 p.m. on Thursday night. And your number 3 game, this is an afternoon game, 1 p.m. Friday, Class 6A2, Choctaw versus Stillwater. And for the first time in the history of Class 6A2, it won't be a Tulsa Metro team because, obviously Bixby won 7 out of 8. Booker T won the other one.
Yes, Choctaw and Stillwater, however, came so close to state titles, especially Stillwater in 2019, Choctaw 2020. Each of them lost heartbreakers to Bixby. And this is a rematch of the 2020 semifinal where Choctaw stunned Stillwater, which was pretty heavily favored going into that game. That came down to the last play. This has the potential to do the same, and it's a great quarterback matchup there with Gundy and Steele Wassel.
Okay, game number 4. This is also an afternoon one, but on Saturday at 1 at UCO, Class 5A, McAllister versus Carl Albert. Carl Albert, always a juggernaut. McAllister, they were in the state title game last year. Had kind of a roller coaster season this year, but they finished strong. Obviously, they're in the state title game.
Yeah, McAllister is without OU commit Eric McCarty, one of the greatest players in McAllister history, but no problem for McAllister last week being without Eric McCarty as they just unveiled, really, Blaise Baugh, who rushed for 258 yards and 3 touchdowns. McAllister, just what an amazing story. They almost lost in their first-round playoff game. And here they are in the state championship game last week. They threw like every trick play in the book. Well, I think they've got an infinite number of trick plays there, but they threw a ton of trick plays at them, and they just played to win. And they've got me convinced. Coach Forrest Mazy's got me convinced that they're going to pull off the victory.
That should be a great one there. And then rounding out the top 5, Class 4A, this is a 7 o'clock Saturday night game at UCO, Wagner versus Cushing. This is a rematch of a regular season game that Cushing just absolutely dominated the Bulldogs.
Yes, 42-0. Cushing, of course, Cushing's dominated everybody. But from a Wagner perspective, even though that was their largest margin of defeat in 18 years of Dale Condit being their head coach, the one positive you could take from that was matched the lowest amount of points Cushing scored this year.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's the positive. Wagner's defense did better than about anyone against Cushing. So if anyone can pull off a turnaround, it's Wagner with all their state championship experience. They know what it's like. Their coaching staff knows what it's like to play in the big game. And so I'm not going to count out Wagner, although I think everything favors Cushing.
Should be interesting. That rounds out the top 5. Again, you can get that in the Tuesday edition of the Tulsa World. It has those 5, and then you write up all the rest of them as well. You can also get it on okprepsextra.com. And, of course, Barry, thank you so much. Another season almost in the books here of the Tulsa World and the Fox 23 working together. We appreciate all the expertise you bring, and then always enjoy it.
Thank you, Nathan. It's been 8 years, and we really appreciate the relationship.
Definitely creeping up on a decade there, and we thank everybody for watching. Don't forget, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we will all have you covered. Pick up a Tulsa World every day of the week because games all throughout the week, and then okprepsextra.com. We will be down and live from all these games coming up starting Thursday on Fox 23, and you can get all of our coverage online. Also on the fox23.com sports page, just click on the High School Football Tonight tab. Have a great week.